They're actually not real. It's just cardboard.
The whole
I
thing is
was actually
just a clever green screen behind him.
Right.
I was actually playing with some of the green screens on StreamYard yesterday, and there's some pretty funny ones.
Are they really?
Yeah, there
I've
are.
never messed with it.
That
There's
Spyderco
some
one
that,
you're in front of now is pretty cool. They have a
That's true.
Spyderco green screen.
yeah, yep.
Hard to believe that was in there.
Oh, the glass.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
LC
Alistair
200N, just in case, right?
So Alistair Phillips bought 2 of those, and he shipped them to me to ship to him because Spyderco couldn't ship it to him. So I got to transport a couple of those.
They're really cool. Did you see
What's
when
going on?
you ever see the video where I broke the one and
I think so, yes.
yeah, so I ended up breaking the glass, and I took a heat gun to it because there's some glue inside of there. And then I took the blade, put it in a little native, and then took it to Blade Show. And from Blade Show, I ended up taking it to the who's the sharpener guys that have a new sharpener that just came out that's fairly cheap that everybody has, but they have also one that grinds, and a lot of people always joke around about
Oh yeah.
Work
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 sharp.
Sharp. There we go. So I took it over to them, and I'm like, hey guys, I have this, and it's completely dull. Can you guys put an edge on it? And sure as shit, they put an edge on it. I took it over to Sal, and had him check it out. And I don't know if you've ever seen. He does this old. He says it's an old samurai trick, and he takes it and he pushes it on the back. Yeah. Yep.
I watched him do it
Weirdest
once. I
shit
thought he was
ever.
going to cut his own head off. It scared the hell out of me. I was like, no.
Yep. And he said he's like it's sharp. So
It was to me, it was like it was vaudevillian. It was the kind of thing that you would do if you were at a county fair and the whole place smells like roasted nuts and deep fryer, and you're sharpening knives for $2 and you want to show that it's sharp.
hey,
That's
where
what
he
it was.
came from, though.
That's right.
I mean, he
Humble
started
beginning.
in the state fairs. So
For those of you who don't know, Sal Glesser used to be the ShamWow guy for knives. He would be at the state fairs and he would be showing people how to sharpen stuff with his sharp maker and his other inventions early on. That's where the van, if you guys see the van concept on some of their stickers and some of their t-shirts, you'll see the old van. That was
Yeah.
the van that the Glessers would roll around in.
yeah, an old bread van. And
Right.
Oh, that's right,
converted it over, and they started their first patent that they were doing the portable hand in. And he was soldering all the parts and everything like that inside of the van, and they were just traveling around.
You ever been over to Sweetwater Audio in Fort Wayne, Indiana?
No, I haven't.
They're it used to be a small mom and pop music store out of a garage, kind of like Apple or Microsoft. And their first mobile sales van was this old like Volkswagen bus. And if you go to the store now, it's a $400 million super center that does all sorts of online business. And they've got the van parked in the lobby.
Really?
And they've got a bunch of gear fanned out of it. So it looks like it just
That's
showed
really
up.
cool.
Yeah. So guys, if you're starting a business, you want to get going, buy a van.
Yeah, bread van is where it's at.
Well,
Just don't do what
Jason.
Jeff Lawfer did and write free candy down the side. It will not work the way you think it will.
Well, Jason, before we get too far into our lovely conversation with Candyman, for anyone who doesn't know who Rich Cox is, how would you describe Rich Cox?
We
In
didn't
your
even
life.
kick the show off. This is FFIB. I'm Jason, and that's Tom. And down here we've got Rich Cox from Spyderco fame. You'll know him as Candyman. If you've been to Blade Show, he's the man conducting the gummy bear eating contest, and
Yep.
purveyor of kindness and wisdom throughout the lands in all things Spyderco. So, Rich, you've been like I don't know how to put it. You've been one of the OGs of the Spyderco world for quite a while, and
Yeah.
I usually if I tag you in a post that to me I'm stumped on it. Usually you know the answer.
Yeah,
So
I've been around for definitely quite a while. So I definitely dabble in a lot of the older knives. So
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about the new school stuff, to be honest with you. I don't follow the new school stuff as much as I should. I get a lot of my information, honestly, from you guys in the groups. But I like a lot of the just old school stuff, the memorabilia, the old unique, strange Spydercos. A lot of the Spydercos that, you know, when they were making them, people were like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, they discontinue them and all of a sudden it's, you know, the hottest shit on the market. And, yeah, those are the ones that I collect.
So do you have the one that looks like a 10-inch pry bar ruler with a dragonfly blade on the end?
The 10-inch pry bar ruler with the dragonfly on the
Because
end.
Dan Tan has it now, I bet.
Yeah, Dan has one. I sent one to him recently. It's a hunk of steel this long. It's got a chisel grind on one end, and it's got inches on it as if you're going to take it fishing. And then
Oh.
one end of it, it's got a little tiny knife blade.
Hold on one second.
Maybe a worker blade because it's small. Yeah, if he has one, that'd be hilarious. That's the one.
This one right here?
No, it's like a stick of steel. That's the one.
Like, yeah, it's like an extendo.
That's
Gotcha.
the one. You guys check out this pocket knife.
Everyone's got those though. I mean, they've made so many sprint runs and dealer exclusives of those. Everyone's got one.
I mean, yeah, everybody has 3 of those.
So I'm actually working on a display for these guys. I got them from Jeff Loffer, actually. He was very generous enough to hook it up. So
It seems like he had most of them.
yeah. Oh, he's got just a treasure trove of all types of cool stuff. But yeah, these were actually made for abalone diving, from what I've gathered. So it's got the pry bar on the end.
Oh my God, you're right.
Wow.
So you've got you have the diver, which is the largest one.
Hey, if you guys have an esoteric career that doesn't yet have a knife, put it in the comments and we'll get it to Spyderco and see if they'll make a knife for you.
They will make, well, at least in the past, they were not afraid to make whatever people would ask for.
You posted a small one the other day, the whale rescue.
Yeah, yeah. My so I have just a plain one, but my buddy here. I actually
Why would
have
you
an
want the
apple-
plain one? Yeah, there it is. That's
So
what you want.
My buddy out of Central Indiana, Andy Welcher, he
Yeah.
Alley Cat Knives, he actually did the handle for me. So it was from GL Hansen and Sons. It's the what do they call it? The Mexican blanket micarta. So
you guys, that knife is designed so that if you find yourself in a boat out in the ocean and a whale comes up to you and it has a rope tied around it, you can cut the rope off the whale. And I've seen 100 YouTube videos where guys are rescuing aquatic life from fishing nets and things like that, and that's exactly the knife you would want if you're in that circumstance. But probably not an EDC carry.
no, not at all. I always thought that it would be interesting to take one out on like a kayak or something like that. So, you know, if you're going through a creek and there's woods and different things like that, it may work out between that and maybe a spider saw.
Maybe we take that tubing down Sugar Creek.
Yeah, right.
You can cut loose that one obnoxious friend, one that drank all the beer. So, Tom, here in Indiana, we don't have rapids, but we have slow moving creeks that kind of wind between farm fields.
Yeah.
And when the phosphorus isn't too bad in the water and it's not frothy, you can get on an inner tube and you ride it down the river or the creek. And what you do is you get a cooler full of beer and you just tie it to the back of your inner tube. So as you're floating down the river, you can just reach back and get a drink and maybe a root beer. They have root beer. That's the height of summer living in Indiana.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Sugar Creek, isn't that over by Turkey Run, right?
That's right.
Gotcha.
I think it goes from like Crawfordsville to, oh man, Rockville.
Okay.
Well, Rich, you have been on the internet longer than I've been on the internet, probably. You've been on the Spyderco internet longer than I've been on the internet, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's how I know you, is you just been here. You were here when I got here. You were here hanging out. So maybe you want to talk to us about your little journey through Spyderco, how you got started, and how you kind of made your wonderful presence known online.
Yeah, for sure. So it started, I'm not entirely sure about the year when it started, but my uncle actually was really big into Spyderco. He was both of my uncles were really big into knives, but my one uncle, my Uncle Bob, he was really into Spyderco, and he actually had cancer. So he went around and he essentially knew that that he was going to pass soon, so he was going around and visiting family, and he came to our house and hung out with us for the day, and he ended up pulling out a Spyderco. I know you'll appreciate this, Tom, a Spyderco native. So he pulled one out and started talking to me about the company, and was just we were shooting the shit, and before he left, he ended up handing me the knife, and he's like, "Hey, I just want you to keep this," and thought that was really cool. And he ended up passing away a couple months later, and that kind of started the obsession, the rabbit hole, so to speak. And then from there, I went on to the forum. So Spyderco forum, you guys are all familiar with that, and just started digging around inside of there. And slowly but surely, I started adding to my collection. And then Facebook came along, and I joined the Spyderco group, which is Roman's group. I'm sure you guys are all aware of.
Have you ever seen the picture on the top of the group? Is it still the same? Is it still Roman
Yes,
up
it
there
is
hanging out?
still the same. And that was what really got me started. There's a lot of people in there. It was new. It was interesting. It was the first time that I think a large amount of people all gotten together, to talk about knives, and then started expanding and started opening up different groups, and here we are today.
For those of you who don't know, Spyderco does have a forum. So if you go to spyderco.com, there's a forum, and probably my favorite feature of the forum is that you will find Sal in there. And if you tag him, he'll respond to you. And if you have questions, he can answer. So a lot of you like to wonder out loud in Facebook land about what's going on at Spyderco. You can go over there and really literally ask the man who knows. And
Yeah,
there's a lot of good information over there. Now, despite our best efforts, we can't get him to join Facebook. He says one forum is too many. He won't want to come over here. But yeah, good place to interface with Sal himself.
Yeah, he's definitely very responsive over there. Between him, Christy, and Michael, they're all just constantly, chatting it up over there and giving away good information. It's a great tool to go back on, and look up old things. So I still spend quite a bit of time on there.
Now,
that is one way it's better than Facebook. It's a lot easier to find information because it's more permanent and it's searchable, whereas Facebook just doesn't seem to want to let the search feature do anything.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah, it seemed like Facebook for a while there, the search was halfway decent, and now it's just completely fallen apart.
it's weird. Like I'll pause on an ad in Instagram, and for the next 30 days, I'll get nothing but in Facebook, right? It knows that. Or I'll search for something in my browser, and it'll know that I searched for it, and it'll show me that. But it doesn't know that the profile I just looked at 2 minutes ago, then I search for it. It doesn't show me that. That's what I wanted to look like. I just looked at it, but it won't show you. So if it's not involving retail or commerce, that doesn't work too good.
So the other part that I actually didn't talk about is the shows. So
Yeah.
that was another big part of how I guess I've learned, quite a bit, and that the way that I've met so many people is through the shows. They are, I would say, between me going to Blade Atlanta, the Oregon show, and then I used to go to the Portland shows when they had Blade over there, and those shows are just a lot of fun. As much as I come across as a very outgoing person online, I tend to not be as outgoing as you might think. I tend to have a bit of anxiety, so I would recommend if anybody's going to the shows. I've seen a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I don't like to go to the shows because there's so many people," and uh, the shows are honestly designed so that way you don't feel trapped. Like you can literally go over, you can talk to a group of 5 people, one person, and talk to them for a couple minutes, and boom, bounce off to another person, and just kind of hop around. Or if you don't want to talk to anybody, you don't have to talk to anybody. But I highly recommend, if you've never been to any of the shows, you just need to, suck it up and just do it.
You're going to find a tribe of people to hang out with. You're going to find a tribe of people to maybe talk to and then run away. Okay, whatever you want to make of it, you can. And I know for all of us, there's no hard feelings if you stop and talk for 5 minutes and then go, listen, I got to go. And then you take off and later on you bump into them again. It's totally
I'm
fine.
that guy. I am
Right.
literally that guy.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
He's gone.
You just got to find Ed Shemp and you'll find Rich.
Yeah.
That's true.
Very true. Ed Shemp is my buddy. I'm actually meeting up with him in Oregon, and I think we've got, I don't know, a couple months, and I'm working the table with him over in Oregon, so
Oh, nice.
Oh,
it'll be a
cool.
real good time. Yeah.
Yeah, Ed Shemp is such a gentleman. That guy's something. Every
He
time
is.
I see him, he's generous with his time. You know, he's a handwritten letter kind of person. And
Yeah.
he had, what was it? Dan Tan had given him something, and in return, Ed made him a knife and then wrote a handwritten letter, and then included postage so that I could post it to Dan. And what
Really?
I told Ed 3 times that Dan already had a couple knives at my house that I was going to send anyway, and that Dan was paying the shipping. But Ed said, "No, I insist. Shipping's on me." So I kept the money, Dan, and I just sent it to you. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Ed's awesome.
yeah,
He's
it's like he went above and beyond to pay back the favor. It was lovely.
Yeah, I started off, obviously as a fan of his work, and just kept on bumping into him at shows, and seeing him after shows, and we just started hanging out and hit it off, and now we're, I see him more than I see my regular friends in my town. Like I see him like, he lives in Washington, and I
Right.
see him at least probably 5 times a year. So. He's a really good dude.
Do you have a similar relationship with Michael Janich? Because I think the only person I've seen in the Spyderco booth more than Ed is Michael.
I don't. So I definitely get along with Michael, and I see him a
Yeah.
lot. But we kind of shoot the shit,
Yeah.
whenever I see him, and we talk a lot. But I don't hang out with him the way that, Ed and I hang out. I mean, we'll, text each other and stuff like that.
You don't go
So
spar with Michael Janich and do like knife fighting with trainers and stuff.
no, but I don't know if you guys have ever looked into his NBC stuff, but it's actually really cool. A lot of the guys in that group, they're really good people. So I would definitely follow. Um, what is it, Marshall or um, NBC? I don't know. I can't remember what it stands for, but I think it's Marshall Blade. I don't know. I'm gonna butcher it, so I'll
Not
just
sure.
leave you alone.
Is it weird that I'm afraid of Michael Janis?
He's intense.
As I'm talking to him and we're having a nice conversation about knives, he's looking at me like this, and I just intimidated. He's an intimidating person. He's not. I don't think I did anything wrong, but yeah, I don't know. He's just he's an intense person.
He is. He definitely. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. You know. I mean, when you walk up to him, I mean, he is extremely intense. You know, but he's passionate. He is so passionate about what he does, but he just comes off. You know, he's a little scary
Right.
at first.
Right. The man has secrets. You can see it in his eyes. So
There
I
we go.
mean-
Marshall Blade Concepts. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So, do you have a favorite one of Spyderco design?
Too
of
late,
Ed
Tom.
Chance? What's
too
that?
late. We've got favorite candy.
Favorite candy?
Ooh.
All right. So, Gushers. Believe it or not. No joke.
Really?
I am a Gusher junkie. My
Wow.
wife will buy a big box of the strawberry Gushers, and she knows that I just can't quit those things. And I will, 11 o'clock at night, she'll hear me. It sounds like a raccoon inside the kitchen, just rattling away, just ripping open these bags of these Gushers. Yeah, I love them. Not
Tom,
what
I
you
had
would
a,
have thought, considering I work for. Oh, actually, I'm gonna drop a bomb on you here, Jason.
Tell me.
So it is pronounced Albanese.
Yeah. I think you corrected me once in the comments recently, and I blew my mind. Albanese, like Lebanese.
Yep. Yeah.
Is there a Mr. Albanese? Is it a family name?
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's Scott and Scott Albanese. So he's the one who started the company, and then his daughters have taken it over recently. His 3 daughters. So still a family company.
Yeah.
And it's a really really cool company to work for. It's not I Love Lucy. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're in there moving around bonbons," and no, it's not.
No.
It's definitely on a whole other level. But it's fun. You know, I started off. So I started off at Albany's as a temporary employee. So I literally was in between jobs. I ended up having to quit my job because of just a really rough circumstances, and I was like, all right, I got to do everything I can to make a few bucks immediately until I can find a better job. And I ended up going to this temp service, and I put in a bunch of applications everywhere. The temp service was the first one to call me, and they were like, "Hey, we have a job for you, and you're going to go and put gummies inside of a box, and it's going to be 2 days, and then we will, let you go, and we'll put you on to your next assignment." And I went in there with 10 other people, and I was looking around, and it's a huge place, and I'm like, man, this is really cool. I'm like, if I could just outwork all 10 of these other people, I was like, maybe they'll call me back. And they just kept calling me back, and next thing you know, I worked my way up to lead, a supervisor, and then a manager. And now I've been able to do some research and development for them as well too. So it's a lot of fun.
So, is research and development code for tasting stuff?
So it's creating stuff.
Oh,
So
He's created new flavors, Tom.
yes. So I am in charge of their chocolate production. So it's definitely fun. There's a product called milk chocolate banana bread pecans, and I helped create that one. So that was one that I did from start to finish, and it's been doing really well.
They're amazing. I've had them. Apparently, Anthony Albanese is the Australian Prime Minister, and Me being a stupid American, I didn't know that. How about that? Yeah, chocolate banana bread pecans are amazing, and I believe they're available in dark chocolate and milk chocolate. Isn't that right?
Just milk chocolate for the banana bread, but
Yep.
we have dark chocolate pecans. We have Grand Marnier pecans, regular dark chocolate pecans. So
No snozzberries, Brian Ted. No snozzberries.
so chocolate actually has to be tempered as well too, which is kind of interesting. So a lot of people think you just pour the chocolate on, but we have certain machines where you have to temper it. So you have to bring the temperature up to, let's say, 110 degrees, and then you're going to drop it down to a lower temperature and then bring it back up. And
Right.
that creates certain crystals inside the chocolate. So that way it's uniform and it doesn't melt as quickly, and then it doesn't bloom. I don't know if you guys have ever opened up a candy bar and or any sort of chocolate, and there's like white, almost looks like powder on the outside.
Yeah.
So that is fat bloom. And what that is it's the cocoa butter coming to the outside or the fat going to the outside. And if you don't have the right crystal structure, it'll just go right through real fast.
Hmm.
Some science.
Tom, we're gonna see a Laren Thomas heat treat protocol for banana bread. Sean
Now,
Houston's working.
be very honest. Since you're around chocolate, candy, all this yummy stuff all the time, you're sick of it, aren't you?
I hate it. I honestly, I don't even eat like dessert at home or anything. Chocolate, you kind of become immune to it. The gummies, like I'll go over into, so we're separated because of allergens. So, the chocolate area, I constantly smell chocolate, and you can't, after a while, you can't smell anything. The only time that I can smell it is when I come back from vacation. But you go over into the gummy area, and it's just overwhelming. It smells so good to me. So from time to time, I'll sneak over there.
By the way, if you guys are anywhere near Northwest Indiana, so maybe you're traveling to Chicago from anywhere in the Midwest, you're probably going to go up I-65 on your way to Chicago. If you get off at the Maryville exit and head east about 3 miles, you'll hit the candy factory. And there is an enormous candy shop inside where you can choose anything you want. I wish I had a better way to transfer these to the screen. You guys would be shocked at how hard it is to take it out of a phone and onto a computer, but it is. The candy shop is enormous, and you guys sell every kind of candy, not just yours.
Yeah.
And what else is cool is there's big windows where you can see the candy production, and it looks like you're making if you ever seen like when they make computer parts and everybody's wearing the hairnets and the lab coats and it's super duper clean. That's how clean it is. It's not like to your point. It's not I Love Lucy. It is extremely clean back there. It's almost pharmaceutical level clean, I think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna find a bunch of extra like pubes in my chocolate.
No.
Okay.
It's not a bunch of stoners like burning J's and mixing candy. It's super clean in there.
No, everybody has uniforms on. You've got hair nets, beard nets. We have hand washing stations. We have these really cool hand washing stations where you actually just put your hands into these holes, and these things spin around and actually just wash your hands for you. It is the coolest thing ever. Yeah, so you don't even have to touch anything before you go in there. But yeah, hygiene is definitely of the utmost importance in a facility like that. You want to make sure that everybody's safe. I mean, our products are going out to families, going out to kids. So you want to make sure it's as safe as possible.
Ryan says I'd have some ideas. First, the hand cleaner. Oh, for the hand cleaner.
So we're actually getting ready to have a employee appreciation day next week. They do it every year. if you guys are friends with me on Facebook, you guys will see I usually post every year, but they go so big. Like they have masseuses come in and they do massages, so you can go and get a massage, and
Oh, cool.
they have all types of food inside of there, and just a lot of different things that they do. So it's like I said, it's a really good company to work for. I'm proud to work for them.
Maybe you could work on some sort of like intercompany partnership with like Lay's or something like that. So they could get you salty and you could get them sweet.
Yeah.
Meet in the middle.
Hey, we get a lot of there's a lot of companies that send over vendors and things like that send over all types of good stuff for us to try out. And I'm usually the first person I know where it's at and where to look. Our purchasers have it, so I go right
Yep.
over there. I'll check once a week to see what's there.
There's a mailbox that I use for the Millie Club, and right next door is a Domino's Pizza, and I'm constantly seeing the McDonald's employees from across the street at the Domino's picking up pizzas and taking it back. And it makes me laugh because I'm like, why would a McDonald's? Oh, because they've had McDonald's 500 times and they want something different. So
Yeah.
Well, you guys could expand to Oregon. I could run the factory, and I'll be in charge of the new THC gummy division.
Tom would be QA,
Yeah,
quality assurance. Tom,
and control.
yeah.
Yeah, we Indiana definitely isn't anywhere near there, and I don't think they'll be anywhere close to that in the near future. So
We're gonna wait till all the other states around us capture all the revenue, and then we'll do it.
yeah,
We'll be the last ones in the union.
I would be willing to bet that
Yeah.
you were right.
We'll be the 49th state out, and and the legislature will be like, we're not certain yet. This is a good play.
It seems to be, it's either weed or guns.
Yeah,
Those seem to be the two things with the states. And Indiana loves their guns, so
It's a fair point. We might be more armed than Texas. That's the secret that nobody seems to know. Indiana's well armed.
Absolutely.
So, Rich, we would be remiss if we didn't get a tour around your incredible room there. You've dedicated a room of your house to Spyderco, and
Yes.
I think everybody can see it behind you. So, I wonder if maybe you would give us a little bit of a tour.
Absolutely. So I have let me move some stuff out of the way here. But I have been working on this room for I'd say roughly about 2.5 years now.
Wow.
My daughter ended up moving out of the house and we had an open room. And I think my wife was just tired of just boxes and boxes of Spydercos inside of our room. So I have safes and everything like that, but it started to overflow a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot. So she offered up to me. She was just like, hey, she was like, we had this room. She was like, would you like to, put your collection in there and we can get it all set up? And my jaw absolutely dropped. I was like, yes, 100%. So we started working on it, and she painted. I actually reached out to Christie and Spyderco and asked them to make sure that they were okay with me putting the spiders that you can see on the wall.
Yeah.
And they said, we highly doubt that you're going to be selling them to anybody, so I think you're okay. So my wife ended up painting those, and then we went to IKEA and just started buying a bunch of display cases and
Yeah.
kind of went from there. So let me get this set up here.
yummy. Albanese sandwiches.
All right, so we will start off here.
Cool.
Got some posters. I have actually this was a tattoo that I got that was a tribute to my uncle. So and Spyderco ended up posting that. They had me do a little piece and write it out, and they posted that up. And then my wife actually gave that to me for Valentine's Day this year. So, but yeah, I've got all the posters, pins on this wall. We've got some autographed posters. You've got Ed. This one is really cool. So it's got Eric, it's got Sal, and it's got Gail. And
Wow,
this was
cool.
actually, this was a gift. There's a guy on Instagram, Red Man's Knives, and he ended up gifting that to me. We talked back and forth about it for a couple years, and he ended up finding it and sent it over to me. So pretty amazing, some of the people in the community and just what they do. So got a banner there. I'll step back and I'll show you guys this wall. So we've got the OKCA Beaver Goddard.
Sorry, everybody, just zoomed in for you. Wow, cool. Got a Delara WTC.
Yeah. So this was actually, I don't know if you guys know who Lars Mott is. So
Mhm.
Lars
Yes.
Larry Mott.
Yeah.
So I became friends with him in the Spyderco groups early on, and we became really good friends. And his wife actually made that for me for Christmas. She that's all by hand. So I figured that fit right in, considering that I met him through Spyderco.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So got posters. We have a Spyderco tie.
I'm surprised it doesn't have soup on it.
So
That is unquestionably the craziest knife poster ever designed.
Yes. Absolutely.
Has anyone ever? No one can top that, no matter how you do it.
He is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet.
Oh, he has to be.
He is. I mean, a lot of people, they don't realize that he's sick. So I won't go too far into that, but if you ever go to Blade Show in Atlanta, he's out there, and he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Guys, sick doesn't mean he's ill. Sick means his religion. So
Yes.
his turban and his beard and his clothes are all a function of that. So
All right, so I'm gonna move.
these guys don't know that, Rich.
Here's my hillbilly setup right here, so I'm gonna try and move this out of the way.
I love it.
Whiskey, manwich, and a folding chair
Yeah.
in this museum.
All right, so
It's heaven.
here's one side. Try and get it off for you from top to bottom. You've got posters. You have acrylic cutouts. These are some old school displays. And I'll just kind of work my way through.
So these displays would probably have been like at hardware stores, right? Like Ace and True Value. You'd walk in there and they'd have a display like that on the counter where you get your keys made.
Yep.
And you could pick up a knife while you're there.
Yeah, so these are the old displays. I just kind of picked these up along the way. I found people that were selling them. And this same thing. You've got a meerkat display.
Close it if you can. That's funny. Those are a challenge. You got to know how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Let's remember, everybody, when Spyderco first came along, pocket knives were pretty dangerous because they would fold shut on your hand. The idea of a lock that would hold up was pretty uncommon. It was likely that it was either a slip joint or a bad lockback, and so they were the first to really make a safe knife. Man, that's cool.
Yeah, so I've definitely
Whoa, cool.
put in some work.
If you guys started right now to build this collection, it would take you 10 years. With a wallet full of money.
Yeah.
These are just hard to get.
Oh,
People that have them don't sell them.
So do you have all the cues?
No, I don't. There's so many cues. That's unbelievable.
Do you have the skull and crossbones one?
I do. Yeah.
That one's pretty cool. Yeah, that's dope. It's a
Wow.
factory knife.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. I'd say between that and there was a Coors one that they had did, and they sent it to Coors, and from what I've gathered, Coors did a cease and desist immediately, and so there's only a couple of them that are there that are around. So that would definitely be the rarest one. You got your natives.
Wow.
Yeah.
So maybe you can answer this. So native fives are obviously made in Golden. When did they switch from being made in Seiki to being made in the United States?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you, Tom.
So the old ones are Japanese knives, right? Like the Gen 1s and 2s?
Yeah. So these posters, I actually got them at the second sale last year, and they were mats. It was like a mat that you could set like knives down and stuff like that on. I'm guessing they brought them to shows, and I ended up taking all the posters out of them and put them behind there as a backdrop. So this one is actually really cool. So that's alum, but the the wood on there, so that's ironwood. So Lars Mott actually ended up sending me that wood, and I sent it out to. I don't know if you guys know who Craig J. Morgan is, but he
Yes.
is he for the so he's Bob Lum's apprentice, which was extremely fitting. But then he also helps run the OKCA show. So I sent it out to him, and he ended up putting the scales on there, and he just did a fantastic job. So Facebook user, that is actually G10 in the back.
So the Spider come out with a normal looking knife and you just go, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what drew me to them. I mean, their ability to, I guess, to take risks. Sal was a really big risk taker. And I think that's what got them as far as they did. And now that it's moved on to Eric, I understand that he needs to balance things out too. Because you can't just take risks all the time. All right, so I'll stop talking for a second.
Wow, cool.
So this one right here, this is definitely, I would say, my pride and joy. That is the Dino Bone Executive. So, and I had
There's only 30 of those, everybody. That
Yeah.
is fossilized dinosaur bone on the handle.
Yeah, it's Brontosaurus. So in the it's like the mid '80s, Sal ended up sending 30 of those out to Bill Wordle at Santa Fe Stoneworks, and Bill had a bunch of Brontosaurus bone that he found from a prospector that was looking for, I believe he said uranium, and he ended up finding that instead, and he ended up putting those on, and Sal sent them out to a bunch of friends and family. So he did not give this one to me. I actually acquired it from a very good friend of mine, and but I ended up having Sal sign it a couple years ago. So we've got I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's the mosquito up there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got a bifold. This is where all my, so this is my first spider coat right here. This is the one that
Cool.
my uncle gave to me.
It really upsets me when people complain about Spyderco making the same knife over and over, because I don't think they understand the number of varieties that are out there. Like, there's so many different knives available. There's so many different configurations. These guys,
Yeah, but they all have holes in the blade. I want
these
a
guys
Spider
put
Coat
out
with a hole.
they put out more models than any other company. Even Boker, that's been around 100 years, doesn't have as many models as Spyderco. I'm sure of it.
No, and I mean, you got to balance it. I mean, there's a lot of people out there now that are big into steel. I mean, that's half the market right now, if not more, is people that are really into steel. So, I mean, I struggled with it for a while. I guess I didn't really understand it, but uh, the more I've been around, the more I understand that, I mean, people like the new steels, and what better way to share that than putting it on some of their best models that they've, done and
It's
having
like,
people test out the steel.
yeah, if you want to try steel, you can't do a flash batch like that stovepipe or that danger pickle and like something crazy that's never been done when you can have a platform that's been done a bunch of times in different steels.
I'm almost done here, guys.
Jesus.
So this one, that's the Shallop. Actually, I just got this one from Jeff as well too, Jeff Lawfer. So this was it was a kosher knife. So they were actually meant to butcher chickens.
Yeah.
And Sal did a, let me open this up real fast. This is probably my most sketchy cabinet. So
Hmm.
when I open it, sometimes things fall. I don't know if you can probably make it out, but it says Spyderco / Yerman. So Rabbi Yerman, he did a collaboration with a rabbi, and they ended up making those. And definitely another interesting piece of Spyderco history. Now we're just getting to the made a cut kit. So that actually wasn't the Spyderco that came with it, but I thought it fit pretty good since it's got a light on it. Got some.
That's
cups.
called responsible stewardship, Tom. That's responding to like all the, it's like when the oil companies put out some sort of like recycled straw campaign to make up for their badness. That's the Spyderco righting the wrongs. They got their patch up kit.
So this
Valio.
kind of crazy. I ended up getting my hands on a Spyderco employee handbook.
That's a hilarious.
We got one
Valley
of the
pen.
employee pens. Got some old sharpeners and actually some prototype pieces. So that Dial X, you'll recognize that.
Wow.
Got that guy back there. And then got some sharpeners. You got the old chalk sticks. You have the blue base sharp makers, which the blue base actually went to Hawaii. So those were shipped to Hawaii, and they had some sort of a special sharpener that was inside of there. I'm not familiar with what it was, but they sent it out there for testing. You got the Folda V. So Spyderco came up with that, and then they ended up selling the rights to Lansky. I think it was in the late 80s. And then you've got your sharp maker, and I actually have a DVD. I don't have it playing right now, but actually I could have the DVD on loop to where I just have I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
Yeah, it's like Bob and Nancy sitting at a desk and Sal's teaching them how to use the sharpener.
Yep.
It's very infomercial.
Yep.
I just used mine last night to sharpen a Leatherman. A coworker gave me his Leatherman. He asked me to put an edge on the blade, and the blade is jacked.
Yeah.
And I could spend 2 hours trying to reprofile it, but it's already narrow. So I pulled out my sharp maker, and it took me less than 5 minutes to put a hair whittling edge on it. The sharp maker is amazing for a lot of different purposes.
It is. To be honest with you, so this guy up here, the gauntlet. I
Yep.
know it doesn't get a lot of hype, but man, so I suck at sharpening. I am one of the worst sharpeners, and I don't know. Some people just can't get things right, and sharpening is one of those things. And this thing is so forgiving to somebody that sucks at sharpening. So if you really suck, that's your go-to right there.
I don't love it for things like Maximate, but if you want to maintain a sharp edge on a knife that you use all the time, it's great. It's great for kitchen knives. It's great for weird shapes.
Yeah.
It's really excellent.
So we got some mules, and I got this off of Amazon. So is that so? Well, I didn't get the portable hand off of Amazon, but the display itself, it's pretty cool. And I put one of my portable hands in there. That's the cleaner one that I have, and it just kind of spins it around. And then I ended up making this display.
So that's Sal's first invention, right?
Yep. Yeah. So he made the portable hand so that way they could understand the process. Just understanding how to make something and how to patent it from start to finish. So, and they were making these in Redding, California. I believe it was 1976 in the back of that bread truck we were talking about earlier. So, I ended up getting this one off of an old clockmaker. So that's why I ended up buying all these clock pieces just to kind of show. And apparently what he would do is he would clean the different clock pieces and then he would put it on there and he would dry them and let them sit and oil them up. So I thought it was kind of fitting. And that's all I've got up so far.
What's in the coffee table? Did you take us through that?
Oh, no, I didn't. You're right. Hold on one second. Let me pull off. So I ended up getting this coffee table. I found it on the side of a road. Somebody was throwing it out. So I ended up painting the outside of it. And I'll take this off real quick. This is just all the all memorabilia,
Wow.
different things that I've collected throughout. You've got dice, you've got some
Spidey
Spidey
hole.
cuts, yeah. You've got some ornaments, some of the Shemp tiles.
Yeah.
They actually gave to the first 5 in line. They gave factory second sale 1 free food item.
You didn't use it though.
To the first 5? Just the first 5.
Yeah, the
You get a
first
free
5.
hot dog.
They got a free food item and a free drink. So we got a lot more than that, but
Welcome to Colorado.
yeah, they ended up hooking it up with a lot more than that.
I know there's 2,000 of you savages out here, but the first 5 get free food items. Wow. Some cool stuff in there.
So yeah. That's the setup so far. I say so far because there's a lot to go.
Jeff Lawfer says he wants some manwich. What's up, Jeff?
Man, we can make that happen, Jeff. Come on over. Actually, I believe I owe you a visit, so I will bring a can when I come out that way.
I think I have a canceled airline ticket out that way. I'll join you. We'll bring Danny EDC and we'll go target shooting.
Sounds good. I would absolutely love to go out there and see Jeff.
It's a beautiful place. Well, thank you for the tour. That was awesome. There's some amazing stuff in there.
You know what you didn't see is like 49 PM2s is what I didn't see.
Yeah, I didn't see a bunch of AWT clad Para 3 lightweights.
So I will be honest, there is limited room inside of this place. So I do have a few things stashed off to the side, but I tried to get as much of a large representation as I could of all the different models.
Do you have anything that's you're hunting down right now or that's coming out soon that you're excited about?
Honestly, the most excited I am about a knife right now is that new ceramic
Oh, the
mule.
mule.
Yeah. I'm super excited for that. I've been messing with it inside of the kitchen. That's just it's I don't know, it's so unusual. You know, I mean, from all the other mules that you've seen, I had a ceramic knife that I had years and years ago. My mom bought it for me, you know, just I don't know, she was at a flea market or something and she was like gave it to me and I fell in love with that friggin' thing. I mean, it just stayed sharp forever, you know. So and this was before I even really got into, you know, a lot of the Spyderco. So I'm really curious to see how this material, you know, kind of holds up.
Yeah, that technology is not new, but it's never been really durable enough to use in a pocket knife or in a fixed blade. It's fine in a kitchen and it's amazing for
Yeah.
carrots, but it's not good for carry. So if they figured
No,
out how to make it tougher, that's really exciting.
no, that's, I figure I'm gonna work my way. You know, I've always used it for, you know, vegetable, fruit, different things like that.
Yeah.
But I figure I'll put it through the paces with that and then kind of slowly work my way up and just see, you know, what it can tolerate. Obviously, there's been a lot of back and forth online, you know, about some torture tests and different things like that. So every time that I've posted that I'm excited about it, people are like, "Oh, that thing's shit. It's absolutely shit. It broke apart," you know, and I'm like, "Really? I mean, you can't, you know, take that torture test, you know, and take that to heart, you know. I mean, that's
Yeah,
not
there's
what
other
it's
ways to
used
open your
for."
manwich, kids. Don't use your
Yeah.
ceramic knife.
I mean,
Rich,
don't get me wrong. It's fun to see stuff like that, you know, by all means, you know, and people like seeing that type of thing. But you know, if you're really trying to understand the use, you know, of a knife and how it works, you know, and what it can really do, that's not the way to go about it. So,
Patrick Bryan wants to know what you typically carry. What's in your pocket normally?
um, so I carry this guy around a lot. So I've got the Shemp Bowie. Uh, this is this is one of those knives that it was it was out forever, and I saw pictures of it, and I'm just like, meh, you know, I just I don't know. The pictures didn't really draw me in, and I ended up finally getting one for a really good deal, and got it here, and I just absolutely fell in love with this knife. It's amazing.
You
Uh,
know, Rich, that's Laren Thomas's everyday carry.
really.
The inventor of Magna Cut and the expert in blade steel, that's the knife that's in his pocket.
Really?
He's
I'm
had it
telling
for he's had it for 10, 15 years.
there's just something about this knife. It is, you know, it opens, closes great. Um, you know, the way that it just holds in your hand, you know, it's fantastic. So I more times than not I find myself carrying this. I do like the to carry the autonomies. Uh I'm a big fan of the autonomy. Even the old one, the new one, the old one with the H1 steel, uh, the serrated H1. I am telling you, it is amazing how much you can put that thing through, and it still continues to cut. I have I've cut, you know, PVC tube with it in a pinch, and obviously that's stupid as can be. But I had a situation where I had a sump pump that was
Yeah.
leaking and, you know, it was coming up, you know,
Right.
and I had
Right.
no other choice than to cut that, you know, and I grabbed my knife and cut it and, you know, it put it through its paces and I ran it back through the sharp maker and it went right back to where it was. And I've had that one since I want to say 2015 and I've just beat it all to hell and it's still going strong.
You know, Rich,
So,
the last time we talked to Eric Lesser, he said that the knife that's done the best in their edge retention testing
mhm.
was the H1 serrated rescue.
Really?
He said it did better than Maximate. It did better than 110V. It's their best performing steel for edge retention according to their testing.
Mhm.
And I was
Yeah.
just what? And I've told people like Sean Houston, and he was shocked. He was like, "Really? That's really what he said?" It's like he didn't believe me, but Tom was there. He remembers. It was
Yeah.
Yeah, he said
crazy.
a lot of things about different steels of very different calibers that are all like the best. They're the
Well, that's
best.
the other problem is Eric will tell you that every steel is his favorite, well, among his favorite steels.
All the best. They're all
Well,
the
that's
best.
one of my favorite steels. Like you said that 12 times already. Man just likes steel.
So you guys got the military too.
Mhm.
I know
Yeah.
we all ended up getting one. So what are your guys' thoughts on the military too? Now that you've had a chance to carry it since what, June?
I carry mine all the time. It goes in my pocket all the time. The fact that I don't know what it is, but it's just a big PM2 in my mind. And I love it because that extra blade length is just fun. It's wonderful in the hand. The comp lock couldn't be better. I'm really happy with it. I love the pivot. If you take it apart and check it out, it works great. Yeah, I couldn't be happier.
What do you
What
think,
about you?
Tom?
What
To
do you
me, it's
think?
just like a PM2. Man, I don't carry mine because I carry a pair of 3 every day, and sweatpants don't accommodate the military 2. But when I handle it, the thing I like about it is it feels like a big PM2, but that it's necked down. It gets skinny at the pivot, which I really like. I like the way that ergonomics feels. Like you have good blade control, even though you have such a big blade. You're like up close, choked up on it, really precise feeling edge. So I like that. I like being able to control what I'm cutting.
That's really true, Tom. Like when you're holding it here, the grip feels nice because your thumb is really forward, but it's not really thick here. And if you choke up, it feels like a pair of 3 right here. But you just have a nice big blade to work with. So I'm in love with it. I love the full liner too. The full steel liner all the way out to the end, just like a PM2. Yeah,
No,
I think it's awesome.
I think it's a fantastic knife. I honestly I've never been drawn to the military in the past. It was a knife that I handled, and I don't know, I just didn't care for it. And I guess that just has to do with the lock. Um, I after getting the military too and carrying it around and really putting it inside of my pocket, I love the military too. Like I think
Yeah,
it's a fantastic knife. It carries. It's a large knife that carries like a medium-sized knife. I mean, you've got your
yeah,
your shaman. I don't carry shamans at all. I mean, I
no,
think they look cool, but it's just a pocket hog to me.
Yeah.
And I stay away. I mean, a Mannix on occasion, but still at that, it still seems kind of big to me. The military, I always kind of put it in that same category, and without really carrying one. And since I've got to carry the military too, it's just a totally different ball game. I mean, it carries just like a PM2.
I think
You wouldn't know the difference.
the military too, I think, suffered something that a lot of Spyderco knives suffer, and it's a prolonged release experience where it gets announced and then it gets talked about, and then Sal talks about it, and then it's at Blade Show, and then it wins Blade Show, Knife at the Show, and then nothing happens for a year, and people forget that's a new model. So it's like I feel like it hasn't got its popularity it deserves because it was so slowly rolled out, and as soon as they rolled it out, they go, by the way, in 6 months we have a bunch of sprint runs coming. So want to buy our S30V one right now, or do you want to wait like everyone else is just? That's what
I think it'll be just like the shaman. And once the exclusives come out, these are going to go gangbusters. But yeah, you guys, you're going to be hard pressed to find a better everyday carry knife than this knife. It's awesome. It is
Yeah.
big, no question, but somehow it feels smaller in the pocket than a shaman.
I can't wait for to grab a DLC, so that way I can do some writing all over.
you can write like half of the Bible on that blade.
Maybe what's the song you're always writing? Call Me Maybe.
Yeah, call me
You can
maybe.
do more than just one verse of it.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
So Rich definitely has a PM2. He has a very famous PM2.
I
Yep.
do.
It's like copywritten PM2. It's got lyrics on it and shit all the time. It's always changing.
So
I put new scales on mine.
ah,
I went with the Chris Ortiz Cerberus scales on my XHP. They came from Jeff, so I didn't mind.
that's
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I did on mine. I actually bought those scales for the Tiger knife, Tom, but I was giving up hope, so I put it on that.
Oh, you can always, when it shows up, I think you can manage to.
Yeah, I'll do a swapperoo.
You'll be
Maybe
okay.
I won't. Maybe I won't. Rich will tell you the secret later.
Can't wait. So somebody else was asking about different things in my pocket. So
Oh.
I don't know if you guys ever carry. I don't know whether you guys carry pry bars or not, but I am a huge fan of pry bars. I for a long time I didn't understand it, and then I ended up getting one. I think I got one from. It was a Lynch Iron Bowl collaboration, the Pacific, and from there I've been just absolutely addicted to them. They're fantastic to keep. I mean, for there's so many tasks that you really don't need a knife for,
Right.
that the pry bar just comes in handy.
I think the
find
harsh
myself
reality
using-
that these guys the ones that don't carry pry bars, the thing they don't know is if they carried a pry bar, they would use their knife less, because it turns out this will probably do all your knife functions in a daily basis, and it does more. Like you can cut a box open with the end of a pry bar, and
100%.
yeah, and then every time you need to open something, move something, pull something, yank something, get something off a wall, scratch something off of your bumper, whatever, you can use your pry bar. So those are Gareth Bull, right?
So I had Lynch, but this one is a Nice Guy Machine Company.
Nice guy. Okay.
Yeah. So he's out of Colorado, and I actually met him at Blade Show. I don't know what year it was. I want to say it was like 2018, maybe 2019. I was doing a live video, and I was 3 sheets to the wind in front of the hotel, and he happened to be passing, and we just started talking in the live, video, and next thing I ended up going over. I've hung out with him. I mean, he makes some amazing stuff, and it's all out of his garage too. So I definitely recommend checking him out.
That's cool.
And you collect iron bowl slingers. Is that your brand? That's a thing. It's a whole thing, right? Iron bowl slinger bottle openers, or
So I collect a lot of bottle openers.
that's separate from that. So the iron bowl thing is separate from the pry bar thing.
Why do you collect bottle openers when your knife is your bottle opener?
I use the knife just to trigger people.
Right.
So
it works good. Works really good.
That is the only reason past that. A lot of the bottle opener groups that do, the stuff, they're a lot of fun. So more than anything, it's you go into those groups, and it's honestly it's a lot like how the Millie Club is. It's a group of people that, it's weird to say it, but I mean, you almost become family over time. I mean, you start to know each other, and you start to, meet these people at shows and different things like that. And the next thing you know, you've got people from all over the United States that you're talking to on a regular basis, and you become friends with them. And a lot of those groups are like that. But I'll show you just a couple. So here's the pry bars, slingers.
So you obviously are like going to open the wing of the museum for the slingers later, but for now they're in the plastic tub.
Yep. And we've got all different types of other animals as well too.
Wow, cool. If he comes up with an axolotl, let me know. My daughter's hooked on axolotls.
Oh, really? So, I don't know if you guys remember that we were talking about the Spada. I think it was like 3 or 4 shows ago when
Yes.
Josh
Yeah.
Haygood So
Easily the
pulled-
most ridiculous knife ever is
I
the
pulled-
Spada XL. I need one bad.
oh my gosh, I pulled the trigger on it and it is unbelievable. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but it's awesome.
You
I
say
mean,
ridiculous. I say value.
for the amount of money, I think I bought this. Honestly, I bought this for $120.
Right.
And you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, but you can make like 6 knives out of that much material, so it's really like a good deal.
I make fun of Chavez for overusing material and being wasteful, that they could make more knives out of one knife. But this is the epitome.
They take a tractor trailer, dump a piece of steel off of it. That's one blade.
So
It's
yeah,
like the
that's
Simpsons episode where they're making toothpicks out of the tree.
Yeah.
That is
it's
so good.
crazy. It's fun though.
I met a guy once at a knife store I used to work at for a few days. He was carrying one of those, Rich, as his gym carry. I met him.
Yeah.
He was wearing He was wearing like gym shorts, and it was in his pocket.
Is he in the group?
He was walking around looking at knives, and he was like, "Boy, none of these just speak to me." And I was like, "What do you got in your pocket?" And he pulled that out, and he goes, "This is what I carry all the time." I'm like, "All the time, even like to the gym?" And he goes, "Yeah."
So it actually, you would
No,
think that
don't
it
make
would completely
excuses.
stick out of your pocket, but it doesn't.
Why did they make it deep carry though?
Yeah, Lynch should make a clip for
I'd
it.
like it, but if it's not deep carry, I can't carry it.
Can you Emerson open it?
I
Spidey
can,
flick
but
it?
I don't
Can you
trust
Spidey
myself
flick it?
right now.
I wouldn't. You'll cut your leg off.
Yeah. And then I'll go viral.
So, guys, let's go back to the pry bars real quick. I've got a few that are cool. This is a Jason Aravello pry bar. It's made out of 5200 steel, and just a cool looking pry bar. He's a custom knife maker, and he made these just kind of it's something to do in between making knives. If you guys are interested, hit him up on Instagram. But they're really cool. The other one that I love to death is the Cerberus pry bar. So these are made by Chris Ortiz. He's using 3V steel that's cryo treated. So 3V is among the toughest of the steels you can get. The clip he actually gets from Lynch. That's a Lynch clip. So to give you an idea, like what a good guy Lynch is, he actually sells these to Chris, knowing he's going to put them on pry bars that are competitive to his pry bar, but he does it anyway because he's not threatened by competition. Chris nano coats these with a ceramic coating, so they're resistant to tarnish and to corrosion. And then there's an inlay of micarta back here. So these are available right now at Cutlery Shop. What else do I have? The Vero pry bar is among my favorites. I never go anywhere without one of these in my computer bag, and the reason is it has bits in it. So if you're a Spyderco guy, you know your Torx bits come loose from time to time. So I got a T6 and a T8 in here, and Joseph Vero actually made me a clip with a PM2 in it, Tom.
Nice.
I should have sent you one because he made one for you and me. I think I sent it to you. But yeah, it's got PM2 in it. And then lastly, this one came from Countess Anne. She sent me a Millie Club pry. This is titanium. And because I'm awesome, it says for Jason. Look at that. So,
Yeah, he
this
wrote that
one's
on there
collectible.
himself, but it's still for Jason.
This will go in my museum. So yeah.
These right here, this is the Pacific. This is so it was Iron Bull and Lynch collaboration, and I love these. I mean, it's the little notch inside. I mean, you can, for cutting boxes, different things of that nature. And then he stopped collaborating with Ernest, and he's as you said before, Lynch. I mean, he is one of the most stand-up guys ever. He's still, will send out clips for different pry bars that Ernest does on slingers. When I was at the Portland Blade Show, Lynch did he split a seat with Ernest out there, and that was the first time that I met Casey. And Casey shows up with this big box, and he's nice as can be, you know, and he's like, hey, you know, I'm going to set everything out, you know, and we go over there and, you know, I'm like, so what are you selling, you know? And he's like, I'm not selling anything. He's like, I'm giving this all away. He
Wow.
literally had just a big box of stuff, did not sell one thing, and just gave it away to everybody that came by. It's the
Wow.
coolest thing ever. So that was my first impression on Casey, and you know, it held.
I've watched dudes abuse their knife clips and then get grumpy about it. And it's like, man, you broke it yourself. And then 2 days later, they'll message and they'll go, yeah, Casey said he'd give me a new one. Like, wow. All right. He's that
Yeah.
Just
kind
so
of person.
everyone's aware, when they say how nice Casey is, and he takes care of everybody, I am judging you a little bit for not trying to just fix it. I am judging you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I would never make somebody give me something for free that I broke myself. I would never do that. So for those of you who are doing that, shame on you, but he'll do it. He's
Yeah.
that kind of guy. He doesn't want broken stuff out there. He wants people to be happy. So yeah.
So Brian wanted to see the Spada up against the Tatanka. So let me go grab the Tatanka.
Can we do
real
that?
quick.
I think I need a Tatanka, Tom.
Though, just to be able to say it, you do. Just to be able to say that word, Tatanka.
I've got a K2 for each hand, but I don't have a Tatanka.
So here's the Tatanka.
Yeah,
That
I
little
need that.
thing. Oh, you mean that ladybug in your right hand?
Yeah, that's a ladybug next to a PM2 right there.
Crazy, right?
Oh my God.
$120.
I mean, the amount of zombies you could chop with that is easily makes it worthwhile.
Is it even legal in most states?
I don't know.
It's considered a folding garden tool, I think. It's
I know
not
in our state it is. I mean, literally the only thing that is illegal in Indiana is, and I believe they just legalized Chinese stars. So
Yeah.
that only leaves ballistic knives. So that is the only knife that is illegal in Indiana.
the kind with the CO2 in them, those ones.
Yeah, yep. So you can carry, I mean, if you want, you could carry a samurai sword on your back. And as long as it's not in a school zone, you're good to go.
You just
Yeah,
have to
you can't
travel
enter-
slower. You just have to be slower in the school zone.
You don't want to go in a post office with a knife on your back, but you could carry it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, how'd you do that thumbs up thing?
Do it again. I did it when I was doing it my own live stream the other day, and except for I did this and I thumbs down myself, and I'm like, what the fuck? I just thumbs down myself. It works
It's not working
sometimes.
for me.
Maybe not.
That was weird. We're always discovering new things about this program. Thanks, Brian. I should hold my thumb up.
It's also really neat though, Mike. If you didn't get that I was thumbs up in from this, let's show you.
I'm still not clear what a ballistic knife is. Does it have explosive caps in it and you press a button and the blade shoots out?
It's like that shark knife that has that compressed gas in it.
But that's not ballistic.
No, so actually a ballistics knife is it's a pressure knife that actually the blade will shoot out. So if you were to hold it and you press the button, the blade will actually fly out.
So I was telling you earlier, Rich, about where I work. We have a real problem because our technicians in Indiana, they can't travel to any bordering state because they're not allowed to practice in those states. But in Indiana, you don't have to have any kind of license at all of any kind. You just go work on stuff.
Yeah.
So Indiana and Pennsylvania are lawless for that, but Michigan, Kentucky, ironically, actually has some dignity in their building code. But Michigan and Ohio have high standards. Illinois has high standards. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
so our techs in Indiana, they're not forced to travel as much as everybody else. This crew seems to know a lot about ballistics knives.
Spring assisted, huh? The Wasp. That's the one that that Tom was talking about. That you see, they put it into
Blow a pumpkin up or whatever with it.
yeah.
I've seen watermelons just get shredded with it.
Honestly, if I was in the ocean, like that would be my go-to for sure. Because I'm
No
scared
doubt.
to tell the sharks. So
No doubt.
TikTok has not made me less afraid of sharks, but I've seen too many videos of people like, oh, I'm on my surfboard. Oh, there's a great white right there.
Yep. No, we were in the Keys back in October, and we went swimming out there, and I don't know, I just kind of just went out, and I wasn't thinking, and all of a sudden it just like dawned on me that hey, there are sharks everywhere, and I mean I booked it to the shore as quick as I could, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay in knee deep, but from what I've gathered, that will not even help you.
I'm pretty sure more people die from flipping their knives in their cars and dropping them on their nuts than sharks. Like it's like less than 5 people a year are killed by a shark.
Yeah.
But all you savages drive to work in the morning, flicking and flopping your knife.
Can I please ask? No more videos flipping knives, please, in your car while you're driving. Just please, because one of these days you're gonna drop it in your lap, and then it's gonna be recorded for all to see.
Did you guys ever hear the story about my roadie that I lost while I was flicking it in the?
The one that you had like the razor's edge knife blade put on it.
No, not that one. So I had a roadie, and I was
Use that. That'll help us.
I was holding it by the nail flick, and I was trying to one hand flick it. I was trying to just hold it by that and just flip it out, and I was doing it over and over. And I was going down the highway to work. Yeah, exactly.
We'll go.
Well, I ended up getting a little too wild with it, and I flipped it, and it slipped out of my hands and literally like slow motion out the window. Just completely out the window. And I'm like, holy shit. Went into a field and I never got it back.
Random trivia: the first knife I ever posted on Instagram was a roadie. Was my very first knife post was a roadie.
I love the roadie. It is such a great knife.
I was in Japan and I was taking a picture of my EDC, what I'm carrying on vacation, and I brought a little roadie with me.
Yeah.
I just got notification that my daughter is using her iPad in her bed 2 hours after bedtime, so I'll be right back.
Oh, busted.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, the roadie is, to me, it's just such a cool knife because you can use it. It's great for around family. So a lot of times I tell people, when you're opening it like Christmas time,
yeah,
break the roadie out. It's got that rounded edge on it. If you're opening up toys at Christmas, birthdays, different things like that, you can go through and you can be the hero, and you don't got to worry about cutting anybody with that rounded edge on there.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun knife. It's a fun knife.
It is. I wish they do some different types of materials.
It's so funny when people ask for. I wish they'd do a sprint run of this knife they sell 9 of a year.
I bet they sell a ton of roadies though.
Probably.
I mean, for the price, what are they, like $45?
Yeah, but that's also like you have to remember, like most people like think of like a knife like, but it's bigger, it costs more money.
Yeah,
and it's kind of small for that amount of money. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it is. It'd be cool.
Here's what
I've talked to what's that?
Here's what I've been carrying for the last couple of days.
Man, where are those scales from?
From Aramis. Back carbon. This is all I carry. So like your collection is very diverse. I have like all the stuff that you don't have, like all the Para 3s and all the PM2s. That's like my whole collection.
Yeah.
So that's all I carry anymore is a Para 3. I like that I have a signature knife, a knife that I always go to, a knife that I'm comfortable using. I can blindfold pick it up and flick it or whatever. Fits in my pocket, doesn't chew up my sweatpants. It's just what I carry. I've become boring. The longer I've been into Spyderco's, the less stuff I've been interested in them. Like the less diverse my collection has come, the longer I've been in this hobby. I figure out what I like and then I refine it, and it's become, this is what I care.
So, Chase, do I enjoy much outside of the spider world? I do. I like some GEC. I mean, I have a couple of their knives that are nice. They just don't seem to. I like the look of them, but I don't know what it is. But I'll put them in my pocket and I just end up pulling them out. They don't last long. I've always wanted a Sabenza. I was actually talking with a buddy about this earlier today. I would really like a Sabenza, but they're just the price of them right now. Man, it is. It's tough for me to swallow that price.
Go through the buy sell trade and get one over there. You can save some money. Yeah. I like the inlay models because I like buying weird inlay material and then sending it over to Scott Lacey and having him make me new inlays. So I pick up knives with inlay handles for a couple $100 below retail.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, they've been around forever. It's not like it's a hot new model on the market.
There's a lot of them out there.
I mean, there's different. You can get Magna Cut, I guess, now, or you get the Sabenza 31, Curve 20, but like they've been around for freaking ever. So there's a million of them, and they're still making them.
Yeah.
You know what? Not being a knife steel guy is going to work in your favor too, because you'll find dudes that are just getting rid of their 35s because they think 45 is going to be better, or they get rid of those because they want Magna Cut. They're breathlessly waiting for Magna Cut. But I got a Damascus model inlay. This is a $750 knife, and I got it for it's polished too. It has polished handles, Tom. So this is a $750, $800 knife, and I got it for like $450.
Yeah, it's a lefty too, right?
And it's lefty. Yeah, a lefty Damascus they're out there, but they're not common. So if you lay out, you can find them.
Yeah, I think that's one that, I've never, I've never decided to grab one. I should have grabbed one a long time ago and I didn't. And the more I look at them, the price go through the roof. And my buddy Nick had said the same exact thing. He said, get one used. He was like, and send it in to get a spot treatment on it. He was like, it'll be close to brand new. So I might end up pulling the trigger on that. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think this one is what I might get. A Menandi. Have you seen one of those before?
Yeah.
They're really small. It's almost like a roadie made by Chris Reeve. Almost. It's like that size, and that's how you open it.
Sometimes I don't know you at all, Tom. It doesn't have a hole opener. It
does have a hole. It's got a little nick hole.
It doesn't run on bearings. You're not going to be able to flick and flop it.
I just had the same one in for the third time in the last year to get a fresh edge. This guy uses it. He carries it every single day at a construction company. He works in the office, but a construction company carries a knife. I can relate to that. And it's just such a cool looking shape. And it's a really small, delicate knife. Cool grind lines. This one's got that white Elfron or whatever material that whenever I sharpen this thing, I have to wash it 9 times because every speck of dust from my fingers smudges all over it and it looks horrible. But other than that, it's really dope.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to check that out. So how expensive are those?
About the same, but they're a lot less common. I haven't looked at the secondary market on them. There's one on Blade HQ right now for $600. It's their exclusive with carbon fiber.
Okay.
The labor to make it is the same, whether it's the big one or the little one. So they're not really any cheaper. I've gotten to know a lot about Tim Reeve and the way he's running that company, just from kind of being in the industry and knowing people and knowing the inside scoop. And Tim Reeve is an awesome guy, in my opinion, when it comes to he does a lot that you guys don't know to support young knife makers. And he's very dedicated to helping American knife makers make things in America. Same with Bill Koenig. Like they've both done great things to help other knife makers. So there's more than one knife maker in the Millie Club. that have benefited from getting to know Tim, and just generous with his time and his insights. And he'll take people for tours through the factory and show them all the top secret stuff, the stuff that you're not going to see if you go visit other factories. He shows everybody his processes, because ultimately knowing which machine to order doesn't tell you how to do it. Right? It doesn't matter. But he's been really supportive of the knife community. So
it was like when Bill Koenig got one of his last CNC machines or anything out on his Instagram. It's like Tim's there helping him set it up and figure out like where it goes on his Instagram videos. Like,
yeah, they're good friends. More than once I've seen Tim hanging out in the Koenig booth at Blade Show. He'll just come and hang out.
Another, I guess you could say, guilty pleasure that I haven't actually held one, but so Microtech. All right. I've honestly, I've been considering getting a Microtech, just an OTF, just to mess with. Obviously the community, you go into the Microtech group and it's an absolute shit show. You go into
literal.
yeah. You go into the TAC community, and it's a really, really cool community, in my opinion. That's a group that I've been in recently that I really like the way they interact with each other, and I think that's what's kind of drawn me more to Microtech than anything. It's just the way that they interact within that group. But I have been curious,
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun. No
I
question.
don't know how practical it would be for me. Honestly, I do know it wouldn't be practical at all. It would just be me, probably throwing it at a tree and fucking it up beyond belief. But
all I know is whenever I have one in, I have to take this sharpener and I have to take the angle and I have to bottom it out on the highest possible way. You get those dull ass edges sharp.
Make sure if you buy one, you pick up a bottle of Gunny Magic. So Scott Gunn actually invented an OTF lube.
yeah,
You can see how thin it is, right? It's designed to wash the crud out of the knife, because the nature of the mechanism in those is they clog real easy with pocket lint. And if you use regular oil, the oil attracts pocket lint. So lubricating the knife makes it worse, not better. So he came up with a lube that will rinse the knife clean, but then also leave behind the graphene, so you don't need to keep it wet. So he actually invented this for basically drywall guys, because it turns out drywall guys love Microtechs. So they're on the job. Yeah, they're on the job like cutting their drywall with their OTFs, and then their knives don't work. So their solution is they unscrew the butthole from the bottom of the knife and they spray it with WD-40 and then put the air compressor on it and blast it out, and then the knife works again. So he figured out how to use this, so you don't need your WD-40 anymore.
Me and Jason have a friend. You know him very well as well. That was trying to tell us to get Microtechs, because like all you had to do is just carry around WD-40 with you whenever you want to carry your knife. Hey, Rich, if you didn't know, this is the Microtech emoji.
Get a can of Duster and a can of WD-40, and you're good. I'm like, I'm not carrying 2 cans of compressed crap to carry my knife.
Trying to shoot it out.
Right.
That is too funny.
Guys will justify anything in this hobby. It's not a flaw; it's a feature.
Yeah, I mean, I say I would like a Microtech and a Sabenza, but it's probably, I say that now, it'll probably be 3-4 years before I even get my hands
Everyone
on it.
always talks about the Microtech that's a SOCOM, the one that's not an OTF. And I was like, no, you don't get it. You just don't get it. If you get over the fact that it's got 3 paragraphs written on the blade and serial numbers and it's in zombie splash colors or whatever, it's really good knife. It is tipped down, but it's good knife.
So it's tipped down.
It is tipped down, but besides that.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't know by my collection, but I am an absolute cheapskate. When it comes to knives, like I will sit there, like I would say 90% of my knives, like I'll sit there for 5-6 years and I'll wait until I just get a stupid price on eBay, or I find somebody, on Facebook, and I'll wait, and I'll jump as soon as I, get the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely an opportunist when it comes to stuff like that.
Patrick Bryan brings up something good. There's a company called Axial that makes OTFs, and they got in trouble with Microtech a little bit because the Microtech was claiming that they were violating their patents, but it hasn't been proven, and there actually wasn't a lawsuit. It was just sort of a letter, right?
Yeah.
And but Axial makes some pretty cool stuff. They're USA made and they're cheaper than the Microtechs. So
Really?
yeah, they're good. I've played with them. They're really good.
I mean, you got to
So,
give credit to Anthony as well too, because man, I mean, he has taken some shit. I mean, he is
Well,
just absolutely taking some shit, and he just pushes it to the side and just keeps rolling.
some of it
nothing
is
makes
of
me
his
want
own
a
making.
Microtech
So
less than when I go to Blade Show. I want a Microtech less when I usually leave Blade Show after like I have to like work my way around the military vehicles that they drove into the fucking show that I have to like get past to get to the Koenig booth.
it's pretty important that if you're anti-import knives, that you don't launch an import line.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You've programmed your people to hate you at that point by telling them that Chinese made is bad, and then you make one.
For
So
sure.
that's of his own making. So Rich, it looks like Patrick Bryan might loan you one. You can borrow it till you're bored with it, and then send it back. That's a
Hey,
good way
I'm
to get over
curious.
a knife, by the way. If you borrow one for a week, then you'll be like, I'm good.
Yeah, just
You
kind
know how
of
much
get
money
over it.
sharpening has saved me? Holy crap. There's so many things that have not had to come across my desk other than for me to go, cool for you. Awesome. I'm good.
I'm glad you love it. So Rich, let's see. Where are you going to be this year? What shows are you going to be at? You're going to be in Atlanta?
So I will definitely be in Atlanta. So this year I plan on going to Oregon. I will be in Atlanta, and I will definitely be at the second sale as well. So those are the three that I absolutely have planned.
So that's the Eugene, Oregon Knife Show.
Yeah,
And then
it's
Blade Show Atlanta, which is the largest show of the year. If you guys want to go to one show, if you really want to try out one show, that's the one to do. And then, in my opinion, and then you'll be at the second sale, and that's usually like the weekend before Thanksgiving in November.
yep,
Usually.
yeah,
If you want to go to the opposite of Blade Show, go to the Eugene, Oregon show. It's the opposite. It's the opposite of Blade Show because it's in Eugene, Oregon, which is where I'm from, which is a town of like 160, maybe 200,000 people by now. It's in the Lane County Event Center, and there'll be rows of Kershaw seconds. There'll be deer horn as far as the eye can see for handle materials, all sorts of fancy shinies out the front, automatics. And then Eric Glesser sitting there at a little folding card table looking lonely because no one knows who he is at that show. It seems like he's just like, hey, I'm just being a legend in the industry, just chilling here. Oh, go buy a fake Spyderco down the road. There's some fake one.
it's it's a really fun show. To me, it's one of those opportunities to see people. You know, I guess to see people in a different light. To see them, you go to Blade Show, and everybody's completely, you know, it's hard to get to the booth. You really have to time, when you're going to go there and who you're going to talk to. You almost have to sit in the background to see, when there's an opening. And then the Eugene show, you have a lot of people that go there, and they like it, and there's a lot of makers that go there because
Yeah.
they've just been doing it for years, and it's what they do. They all get together. My iPhone is telling me that it's almost time for me to go to bed. It's used to me going to sleep right about now. But
Eugene shows where I met Eric, and like someone told, like the guy who got me into knives, Danny Palina, said Spyderco will be at this show in Eugene. I was like, bullshit! I've lived there my whole life. How did I not know about this? And I show up, and it's just like it's a totally different atmosphere. It's just Like Jeff Loffer, I hung out with him. I hung out with Triple B and Eric
Yeah,
last year. Like, how cool is that? Just
for
5
sure.
guys standing around a table full of seconds.
It's fun. You know, there's you don't have to, worry about anything. I mean, you get to talk to everybody. I mean, just it's a relaxed atmosphere, and it's a lot of fun, and I like it. And there's a lot of people that bring their families there. That's one of the biggest things that, as a driver to me, I love bringing all types of I like I said, I share the table with Ed, and we have a bunch of gummy bears and chocolate, and it's fun to hand out to all the kids. Everybody brings their family out there, and you get to hand it out and have a good time.
My mom came to it last year
Yeah.
after we left. My son got sick, so my mom came, and she's coming again this year. She's excited about it. She got to go meet Jeff Loffer and had a great time doing that.
Yeah,
We can
Jeff.
go. Rich really wanted to get seafood this
Yeah.
year. He went like, I want like a crab smorgasbord of crab. And he did. He spent like $40 on crab for lunch. We went out, had a nice little lunch. Kept mine a little more simple. It was a great time.
Dungeness crab out there is fantastic. There are some places out there. I actually am leaving a couple days earlier, and I'm going to Portland. And I'm going to start off in Portland, and I'm going to go down the coast, and I'm going to stop, and I'm going to try a bunch of different chowders in a couple different places, and then I'm going to cut across. So
Good.
I'm a seafood junkie. So I'm super excited.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then Jeff, like you said, Jeff's going to be there. Jeff, man, he's one of my favorite people, Jeff Loffer.
Heck yeah.
So hanging out with him. Last year we went out to dinner, and we pretended that it was his birthday, and they brought out a cake with a candle and everything like that. And we sang happy birthday to him. It was absolutely not his birthday. But yeah, it's fun, I mean, just, things like that. If you guys can get out, I really recommend, even if it's not the Eugene show, Atlanta show. Atlanta show is fantastic because that's one of those things where you can just jump around. There's so many things to do. You've got the, what is it, Truist Park right over there where the Braves play. You can literally walk over to where the Braves play, and there's all types of, restaurants, everything. And you hang out with people, I mean, you're on your own agenda. But I highly recommend, if you're in the knife world and are in these groups, you guys should come out to some of these shows and just hang out. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. You'll make friends for life at a knife show.
You will, 100%.
Yeah.
And if you go to a knife show and everyone's like, why do I need a coin? This is when you need a coin. You need to bring a coin with you to a knife show, or bring something to identify yourself as a club member. And that will get you into the secret society of the cool kids at the show. And you get to hang out with everybody. Yeah. Just anything that can identify yourself as part of the club, show that shit off, and you will connect with a bunch of other club members real quick.
And if you don't have anything, go see Jeff. 9 times out of 10, Jeff is going to have some really cool Millie Club swag. Guaranteed.
You'll probably get one of these.
Yep.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Hold on just a second.
Who doesn't have one of those within 5 feet of their knife club?
Me, because they go out. I mean, they come in, and this is like perfect. Just like rebag it right for them sharpening job.
So Tom, every time knives come to me for Dantan, I always go through the bags and I pull out my favorite flavors of the Tootsie Pops, and then I only send him the junk. Dan will get his box and he'll be like, "Look what came in the mail today," and he cuts it open, and he invariably shows a giant bag full of Tootsie Pops, and I just laugh because it's all the lime. It's all like the lemons.
It's like kangaroo flavor.
He gets the lemons in the fruit punch. I keep the pomegranates and the raspberries.
Dan has actually sent me some pretty fun care packages back of some of his boot polish.
Don't encourage it. Don't encourage it. He's always trying to trick new people into trying Vegemite and Tim
Oh.
Tams and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, Dan, sorry, the secret's out. He also gets fudge from the Uranus Fudge Factory.
I know
So,
all
Rich,
you guys. I know
we should
all
probably
you guys
let you
know
go
Dan.
so you can get to bed. You got an early morning, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I just want to say, I know a lot of you guys know Dan, but man, Dan has been around for a really long time. So, especially on the forum, he was there actually long before me. Spidey Wicca. So I know a lot of people use Spidey Wicca. There is a huge group of people that all got together back in the day on the forum, and they started Spidey Wicca. And uh, you've got Dan, you've got quite a few other people. I don't know if I should name them or not, but they're all in the Millie Club, and a lot of those guys got together and they put a lot of work and time into Spidey Wicca. So some people think that Spidey Wicca is actually, it started with Spyderco, but it didn't. I mean, you've got people, I'll say a few of them, Kyle Wright. I know you guys have seen Alexandre Konsonoff,
Yes.
Henning. There's quite a few people that have put a lot of time and effort into Spidey Wicca. So if you're ever curious about a knife, just, before you even go on the group, go into Spidey Wicca and look, and there's
Jesus, look at all these cues. You weren't
Yeah.
kidding.
yeah,
Discovery
there's
Channel?
so many.
Heckler and Koch.
REI.
Yeah,
I didn't know there were
there's
this many.
and a lot of the guys that, I don't even know, I would like to continue to say their names, but a lot of them don't want people to know, they're just happy with just collecting the knives and nobody knowing that they have them.
The one
But
thing that's hard
there
to
it is.
understand about the website, I wish there was a better way to explain it. So the website, go back one more page, Jason. The website is organized in a way that is totally logical, but only if you know what you're looking for. So if you're looking for every single Spyderco that you're aware of, it's under the one that says with CSKUS. You're supposed to know that, obviously, but that's how clippets. So knives with a clip, they are numbered 1 through 270 or whatever. That's where
Yes,
all the
everything
knives
with
you
a
want to look
pocket
at
clip.
are.
Everything with a pocket clip gets a C skew. Anything with a J skew is a jester. Anything with an L skew is a ladybug. Anything with an M skew is a man bug. So if it's not a man, lady, or jester, it's probably a C skew.
It's just basically
The fixed blades are in another category. The mules are in another category. But here, guys, you can see all the different models that have ever had a pocket clip. And for all you whiners that say Spyderco doesn't innovate, here it is. How many do you own? This is not as updated as, I guess it's not
pretty
bad. We got
updated.
the
These are
Bodacious.
ones that just came out. The Micro Jimbo just hit the streets.
Got the Bodacious here. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
It's got a little bit of leaf storm going on here.
So
Pretty
this
cool.
is a perfect example. That is a 100% unique unique knife that is 100% Spyderco identifiable. But everyone will look at that and go, yeah, but it's kind of just like a shaman that they skinnied and they took the nub off and they did this. So it's not really like a new design. It's a completely new knife.
I think it's going to bury the shaman.
I think so
I
too.
really do. But yeah, these guys put years and years of effort into Spidey Wicca, and then they ended up passing it on to Spyderco, and now Spyderco has been updating it for the past few years. There's been a couple guys that have done it. Wooter, I don't know if you guys, Spyderco collector from Instagram. So
Don't know him.
Oh yeah, yeah. The guy from Amsterdam.
yeah. So he updates it. Kyle Wright recently was updating it as well too. But yeah, they put a lot of time and effort into that, and Those guys know way more than I do.
Yep. Spidey Wiki is on the home screen of my browser on my phone because once a day someone will ask a question in the group and I just look up the page and I copy and paste it and I put it right into the Millie Club because somebody will go, whoa, when did this come out? How many were there? Copy, paste, boom, done.
Yep.
I actually kind of find it soothing. Like when I was getting into PM2s, like you can go look at the PM2 page and there's a lot. There's like 65 of them. But they're all in one spot. It makes you feel organized and like, okay, here's a list I can work from in one spot and know I get all the knives when I have to have my full collection. Got to have your Bayou shooter. You got to have all of them if you want a full collection.
It's true. Well, Rich, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I'm glad we could do this. We've talked about it for a long time, and I'm very thankful you made the time.
This was a lot of fun. I definitely look forward to getting back on here with you guys.
That'd be awesome. We'd love to have you. Let's see. You know, it'd be really cool would be to have you on after Blade, and we can kind of recap about what you saw and what you liked and what you didn't, and we can talk about the time a little bit. That'd be fun.
We do. You can recap your Gunnybear eating competition.
Yeah, we need to know who wins.
I
Joey
can
Chestnut,
definitely
maybe.
let you guys know. So that's it's usually a collaboration with Copper Shed Knife Works. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Copper Shed, but he does collaborations with Olight right now. But he's really good guy. But we usually we've been doing it for I want to say 7 years now that we've been doing the gummy bear competition, and I used to do the big ones. And then I don't know, halfway through it, I just started envisioning somebody choking on a gummy bear and dying, and thought, how horrible that would be for somebody.
Think about all the heroes that would be able to put in a trach,
Yeah,
trach
right.
tube with their pocket knives.
So
we get one of those CO2 powered ones.
Right.
So
Rich,
Shoot,
bring the
the
big gummies that are this big. The big gummies. Like whoever can gnaw one down first wins.
Yeah, so we switched to the little cubs, and I felt much more comfortable. We have, I don't know, it's maybe a quarter pound or so, and whoever wants to enter, they all put in. It's either $20 or anything above that. And there's a lot of knife makers. They put in like custom knives, custom pry bars. I mean, the pot, I've seen it get well over like $750 to $1,000, and whoever eats them the fastest gets the whole pot. So
Why aren't we doing that every year, Tom?
I don't know. I've missed it every single year we go.
I know. Find out about it after.
I've never actually seen it happen before.
I always go live in the group though. So
oh, man, I'm usually standing around waiting for Eric to show up.
Yeah,
so I want to hang out with Eric
next year or
all
this
right.
year.
Yes, this year. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining us. Guys, we're going to sign off now. I hope everybody has a nice evening. We'll see you next week. Tom, do we have a special guest next week?
We have 2 special guests next week because we have 2 episodes next weekend.
Crap.
We have coming out on Saturday, I believe our first guest is Joseph Vero, who just won several awards at Blade Show Texas he can probably talk to us about. And then the following day on Sunday, we have Sean Loom of Knoll Knives joining us because he has a knife dropping next that following week. So he's going to talk all about that too.
That is awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, thanks a lot.